Alrighty, everybody, I'm loading into the session now. We're going to cut in as soon as we get in there to whatever's happening and try to figure out where we are in the race. Want to apologize. My machine magically decided that OBS doesn't exist anymore and then I needed to reinstall it. So that's what I did. I put it on my main drive over my secondary hard drive, and we're going to just carry on as per usual. I'm imagining we're probably a quarter of the way through at this rate, but just unfortunate, I guess. But welcome to P1's coverage of the Indy NXT qualifying series from Texas Motor Speedway. The first oval round of our 7-round championship here tonight. I am seeing some familiar names in the session as I'm working my way in here. All right, we've got ourselves cars on screen. Let's get ourselves timing tower. We are currently working lap number 13, it would appear. Field in control of Beliciodos. Get to the blimp here, try to capture as many cars on screen. That's Dan Amor, the number 1 machine behind him. Cooper Webster, the team red light driver, in 3rd. Alexander Spetz runs 4th. Alessandro Bico's 5th. Nicholas Mateo is 6th. Rafael Leon in 7th. And Williams Esports Nathan A. Moore in 8th. Luke Mansky Racing entries are running 9th and 10th, and Logan Edwards and Caleb Brashear, respectively. Rogue Racing's Blaze Andrich runs 11th, ahead of Kazuki Fujita in the 12th spot. Big battle for the 13th spot, it looks like. So we've got cars 2x2 back here. Andy Kirkenbauer works the bottom line as you see Charles Boucher work the high side there. We're 2x2 back in the field. Anna Klemick in that number 2 machine on the high side alongside Chris Wetz on the bottom in the white car. Get people's proper paint schemes loaded up here as well. Yeah, that might help me, Luke, if I've got the right paints. I'm just trying to get in here as fast as I can. I knew I'm going to miss something between all the reboots and stuff. There we go. We got Anna in the Deere car now. We're getting paints loaded in there. So this is kind of the battle for 13th on back. Field's about, this group of cars is about 8 seconds away from the lead as it stands. I'm imagining there was a big checkup at some point in time that resulted in this portion of the field winding up a bit further back. Number of cars already out of the session. Alan Berteau and Simon Sykes, as well as it appears Daniel Ferguson is a number of laps down as well. We're going to hop back to the front of the field as it looks like this battle for this group of positions is stabilized as we see a car shoot the middle between Wetz and Klemick there. That'll be Mitch Welker in his number 12 machine. Move back to the front as it looks like there's a couple cars making a breakaway ever so slightly now between Beliciodos, Amor, Webster. They're starting to pull away from Alexander Spetz just a little bit now. Try to run through the rest of the field as well once they sort themselves out a bit deeper there. We shall see as cars cross the line now where people are stacking in towards the rest of the field. We made it through about the top 20. We've got Ethan Egan running in the 21st spot. Behind him will be David Toaster. Benjamin Fior, a regular on our Indy NXT coverage here on the channel. He runs 23rd. Jason Wallot is 24th. Crash Neon in 25th. Edwin Onofre, good to see him out on the track. It's been a minute since I've seen him out on the iRacing. He runs 26th, ahead of Ellis Spice, who runs 27th. And Ricky Paz is the last car out on the speedway at the moment. Just about to reach the halfway mark in a couple laps time now. Do want to run through a couple quick things regarding the Indy NXT Series here at Texas and tracks of similar variety. Indy NXT has not competed at the Texas Motor Speedway since 2005 in the then Infinity Pro Series, in a race that was won by Travis Gregg, who won from the pole, leading the most laps. The last Indy NXT race to take place on a 1.5-mile oval was October 16th, 2011 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a weekend that unfortunately needs absolutely zero introduction. Indy NXT last featured on an oval of 1.5 miles or greater in length during the 2014 season, where they took to Pocono Raceway in a race won by Gavi Chavez, who led the most laps on the way to victory. I would like to caveat this in that that's excluding Indianapolis. The last Indy NXT race to take place, period, on a track of 1.5 miles or greater will be the 2019 running of the Freedom 100 at Indianapolis. And lastly, other 1.5 mile or greater tracks to have featured on the Indy NXT calendar in the last 25 years or so would be Auto Club, last hosting in 2013, Kentucky, last hosting in 2011, Chicagoland in 2010, Kansas and Homestead in 2009, and lastly, the Michigan International Speedway in 2004. So we've remained pretty consistent now near the front of the field. Nobody seems to be super keen to make a move, and I'd imagine that there's not going to be a ton of risk-taking at this stage in the race. We're going to hop back towards the bottom portion of the top 10 as I see that Alessandro Bico has fallen down the order and now runs in the 10th spot behind the Luke Mansky racing cars of Brashear and Edwards, who are working the low side in our picture here. You'll see Blaze Andrich just at the tail end of our shot there in that lime green and black Rogue Racing entry, with Kazuki Fujita in between them. I believe everybody's kind of in a game of survival here tonight. This has kind of been the biggest wild card in terms of a pro qualifying series event that I can really think of, aside from maybe if a NASCAR series is during qualifying stages run a super speedway, but that's a bit more to be expected in those necks of the woods at a track like that. This is something a bit different. We're seeing cars very, very difficult to make any sort of passing opportunities, but you can see there's a lot of wiggling going on in the dirty air on the bottom here. I'm imagining a good number of cars are opting to probably run as little downforce as possible to try to make themselves as fast as possible around this 1.5 mile oval in Fort Worth, Texas. So we'll stay outboard with these Luke Mansky cars, as they've got at least a car to their outside that they're trying to fight on through by, with Bico running the high side there. Do want to thank everybody for bearing with us as we sort through all the technicals here tonight. We have reached the halfway mark as we have reached lap number 30. We'll be back next week for Pro Qualifying Series action at the same time. They'll be taking on Portland next week. Very much looking forward to that. That's a great track in these cars. Looking forward to seeing how the second split of Pro Series qualifying goes. Once we get that far, we'll start to get a better picture of who thinks they still have a shot rolling into the rest of the season. Obviously, there is one drop week in this Pro Qualifying Series. Of the 7 weeks, you get one that could kind of go for naught, if you will. Imagine a number of drivers are going to use this as one of the high drops in terms of the number of people dropping it. I'd imagine that some of the other oval rounds may be of similar, just given the lower strength of fields we've seen here tonight. do want to get a quote on what we're looking at in terms of that strength of field number now. So split 2 is looking at a strength of field of 4,021. For comparison, the top split cracked 5,593, which is about comparable to a very high IndyCar oval fixed strength of field on its best days, say when the series is at Indianapolis during the month of, or during the season in which the actual Indy 500s occur. That tends to be when that's going to be where the numbers start pumping. We're going to try to give everybody a bit of screen time and work our way through the field here. So we'll run through everybody out on track still. Move to the front of the field. So you've got Belisotos leading over Dan Amor, who runs second. Cooper Webster in the team red line car will run third. Saw many drivers caught on to Max Verstappen hosting a practice session for these drivers on Team Redline this week. So a lot of people thought that we might get an appearance from the man himself. He might not be in here. If so, well, we will continue to run through the order here as we've got Alexander Spetz running fourth. Nicholas Mateo runs fifth. Rafael Leon in the third Luke Mansky Racing entry runs in sixth. Nathan A. Moore for Williams Esports runs seventh in that throwback livery to, I believe, did Mansell run this one? It looks like one of the 90s Williams liveries, so it's possible that it was a Mansell one at a point in time, but we'll keep running through here. Alessandro Bico has made it back in front of Logan Edwards and Caleb Brashear after working that high lane, so it does seem like either he got let in or the Luke Mansky cars lost a bit of momentum and he was able to sneak back through in front of them. You've got Logan Edwards and Caleb Brashear running 9th and 10th. They'll round out the top 10. Kazuki Fujita runs 11th ahead of Blaze Andrich in 12th. Way back to the second train now as the camera kind of pans around is Charles Boucher running 13th. Indy Kirkenbauer is 14th. Chris Wetz in 15th. Manel Kubo-Torres runs 16th. David Toaster in 11th. Emil Bernstoff, he'll run 18th. Jason Wallat will run 19th over Ethan Egan in 20th. Benjamin Fior, 21st. Ano the Deer runs 22nd. Ricky Paz in the 18 machine runs 23rd. Crash Neon runs 24th in his machine. Mitch Welker will run 25th. Edwin Onofre runs 26th. Aiden Carter in 27th. And Ellis Spice, the last car still moving out on track, in the 28th spot. Move back towards Rafael Leon as he's caught in a pickle between Nicholas Mateo and Nathan A. Moore. Verstappen is spectating the session on iRacing. I figured he was in the last one watching, so I'm sure he's looking out for his Team Redline compatriots. Good to see Max getting some open wheel feeder series action out here on the ovals. Yeah, we almost maxed out the split size here in this series here tonight. The qualifying series will split at 33 cars, and there are 31 in this split here tonight. So the splits were basically as big as they could get here in the qualifying series. Reminder that this is an open setup series, so this is the first opportunity these drivers have had in official race conditions to modify those setups, get them dialed into their liking, find the extra speed that's potentially out there in this car. We're not seeing a huge difference in terms of what the racing is doing here. I am curious to see if we can get a look on Alessandro Bico and how he's generating his runs here on the outside. As we see, he makes it by Leon for the 6th spot. He's going to stay high. He looks to have found something that can garner him just enough momentum on that high side to maybe drag a car back through the side draft, pull them back, and drive by them, work his way forward. We'll see how that plays out for him over the course of the rest of this race, as we've got another 19 laps here to go as Nathan A. Moore shoots to the high side, and he's going to look to try to garner some momentum now. The Luke Mansky cars are now all sharing the track within a very, very close vicinity of each other. We've got Leon here at the lead of that group with Brashear and Edwards going side by side for the 9th spot. Heading off into turn number 3. They'll come off turn 4 now. Nathan Moore is going to lose a bit of momentum on that high side here. Bulk of the field is staying relatively tied to that bottom as we see Fujita get very close to the inside of Caleb Brashear going through 1 and 2 there. They'll go backwards just a little bit. Now this lead group is now 18 seconds clear, or well, rather the tail end of it, 17 seconds clear of that second group. I'm expecting there had to have been another checkup event for those cars. See if maybe we can examine how that rear group is strategizing back there. Andy Kirkenbauer is running in the 14th spot. We'll hop back to him now in that Miles Rowe scheme. Vote of racing driver runs 14th. Long night here at the Texas Motor Speedway for everybody out here tonight. Continue to stay locked in here for at least the conclusion of this lap. Looks like they've opted to go back single file. That's all the way back to, I believe, Anna Klemick, who's side-by-side with Mitch Welker. They're 2x2 with Ricky Pass and Edwin Onofre behind. Not sure which car is which. I believe that's going to be Onofre on the bottom here. We'll move back towards the front as that starts to get closer. We're seeing more cars going double files. We've got Cooper Webster and Nathan A. Moore now both on the high side. Very close battle between Webster and Spetz. Coming into turn number 3. See more P1 Docs sponsorships sporting on the 2 cars of Spetz and I believe that's Nicholas Mateo. Indeed that is. See another car, and Brashear shooting to the high side. He's looking to start garnering some momentum forward. We'll see if he can start making some moves towards the front. Bit of a bobble there for Alessandro Bico as he works on the inside of Nathan Moore. Moore's going to have the momentum going to the line there. He's going to pip. Classic IRL style finish. I know Shane Coker's in the chat, the Sam Hornish Jr. fan. Much to the Sam Hornish-esque there. We have Kirkenbauer down the order significantly now. Wondering what happened to him. We'll rewind this real quick to try to catch up with what happened there. Heading through turn numbers 1 and 2. Slow this down ever so slightly to try to get an idea. It seems to happen just off the corner here. Heads down off of 2. It's going to head up the track. And he just gets loose and cuts low and doesn't have anywhere to come back up, and he's going to fall down the order. So we'll move back to Brashear, who runs 8th. Leon runs to his inside. You've got Logan Edwards in that 11th spot. We're seeing people get racy with these last 10 laps. It has been at least somewhat relieving to see that given the open setups on these cars, you can actually get side by side and generate a bit of momentum on that outside lane as we see Webster. Webster shoots way up the track. He's going to start falling down the order now. The Team Redline driver just outside the top 10 now. Blaze Andrich is going to enter the picture on his inside. 8 laps to go here at Texas. Two by two from about the 5th spot on back. The front 4 have remained steady. Belesiotos, Amor, Spetz, and Mateo now leading the front 4. Rest of the cars all the way down to 12th and Andrich are side by side. 2x2. This at least looks a bit more convincing in terms of potentially how these cars could generally react here at a 1.5-mile oval. I'm at least somewhat intrigued to see this be the case. It's not perfect by any means. It's still very, very much a battle of the air, but that's at least something. Five laps to go here. We'll see if that outside lane can generate that momentum heading down the straightaways, maybe try to pull themselves forward. One thing we kind of haven't really talked about is being able to kind of aero push with the air between the cars, right? They get very, very close together through the corners, particularly on the exits as the cars behind generate on the cars ahead. And you see the kind of the air build up between the cars, and then the car in front starts to pull away a little more as you get to the entry of the corner. And that gives them the opportunity to try to pull the air off the car to their inside. Not super unlike what you see in a stock car. As we see Nathan Moore almost in the back of Alessandro Bico. That puts Brashear in a very hairy spot on the high side. The bottom lane, Blaze Andrich nearly gets into Fujita. They're making contact. Andrich cuts through the grass, but he stays on course. We'll see if he has a slowdown penalty for cutting the grass there. That may be the case. He stays moving. Great work from the Rogue Racing driver in that number 19 machine. We'll move back towards the group here at the front. Webster's looking there. Fujita is running the tail end of this train in 11th. Andrich is gaining back on the field slowly, so he has not lost the draft here. He is well and good. We'll hop to the front of this field as we've got 2 to go. If anybody's going to make a move, it's going to be coming to the checkered flag here on the last lap. We'll watch this front 3 as they cross the line. You see Amore start to look to the high side ever so slightly. One more time around here at Texas. We're going to hop. We're going to stay on. As you see, Mateo working the high side. He's going to try for it. I don't think he's going to have the momentum at this point, but you know who will? Amore. He's going to look to the high side, try to pull down the front straightaway. Not enough time. See a number of cars side by side. Oh, we've got a wreck after the hop to Nathan Moore. He's wrecked after the checkered. Saved it to the very end. We'll watch as the rest of the field comes through. This is going to be Boucher in the 13th spot, leading this train of cars from 13th back to about 26th. They're going to go 2x2, cars everywhere. Lots of contact. Got a car around. I believe that's going to be Mitch Welker amongst others. Ethan Agan, I believe, makes it through. That's Ellis Spice in the 31 machine. Anna Klemick with damage in the 23 or the 23rd spot. And we'll run through this field as soon as we get everybody sorted out here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Certainly quite the finish and a decent bit of racing happening and an unexpected twist to some extent of being able to have multiple usable lanes that actually seem to work for passing deeper in the field. Perhaps in a perfect world, these 1.5-mile tracks, at least a couple of them, can put on decent shows here in the IL-15. And with that, we will get through to the finishing lineup. Belisiotos will win over Dan Amore in second here at Texas. We've got Alexander Spetz in third. Nicholas Mateo finishes fourth over Alessandro Bico. Luke Bansky Racing's Rafael Leone will finish in the sixth spot over Williams Esports' Nathan A. Moore. Logan Edwards finishes eighth ahead of his Luke Bansky Racing teammate Caleb Brashear in ninth. Cooper Webster in the Team Redline entry will finish 10th after fighting valiantly inside the top 10 for the bulk of the race. Blaze Andrich in the Road Racing machine made it past one more car before the line after cutting through the grass there with a couple laps to go. He will finish 11th here tonight in that number 19 car. Kazuki Fujita will finish 12th. Rest of the field was pretty far back. We were unfortunately unable to catch exactly what happened early on to get them about 8 seconds back, but I'm imagining there was a number of sizable checkups that happened deeper in the field. You've got Boucher in 13th, Manuel Torres in 14th, David Toaster in 15th, Jason Wallat in 16th, Emil Bernstoff in 17th, Ricky Paz in 18th, Ethan Egan in 19th, Benjamin Fior in 20th. Heading down to the 20 through 30th will be Mitch Welker in the 21st spot. Ellis Spice finishes 22nd ahead of Anna Klimek, Anna the Deer. Chris Wetz will be 24th, Aiden Carter 25th, Edwin Onofre 26th. Andy Kirkenbauer will finish 27th, 2 laps down, with Crash Neon likewise 2 laps down in 28th. Daniel Ferguson will finish 29th. Alan Berteau out early in the 30th spot. And Simon Sykes will round out the 31 car field here tonight. We will get the podium finishers on screen briefly, even if I don't believe we'll get podium interviews from any of the cool kids, the esports cool kids here tonight, but we will give them their due for a nice solid run here at Texas. We can find their machines. Can I find an Alexander Spetz? There's Spetz. We'll get him at least on the track at speed here. There's Alex Spetz in that Drago Racing. I believe that's Drago on the wing there. Looks like it. See if maybe we can get a bit closer to his machine there. Yeah, the Drago Racing machine of Alexander Spetz will finish 3rd here tonight. Dan Amor will finish in 2nd in that number 1 car here tonight. And then Valicios Beliasotos will finish as your winner here tonight in the 3 car. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to our coverage here on P1 Broadcasting of the second split of INDY NXT Thrustmaster qualifying series here on iRacing. Good to see a good number of community members out here making their attempt at the big time, trying to make it to the IndyCar Thrustmaster Pro Series running this winter. Gonna run through the rest of our content lineup for the end of this week here on P1, alongside what we've got for the rest of the week here, or going into next week rather. So tomorrow night will be the AMA Truck Series live from Martinsville. I believe Mark Murphy will be back. He was unable to make the coverage of their Xfinity Series here Thursday night, but tomorrow he should be back in time for the Truck Series. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. And then next week, P1 will be back with our Monday night coverage of the IndyCar Open Series starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be at Auto Club. 9 p.m. Eastern Time will be the Onyx Lotus 79 Series from Motegi. I believe that should be the oval, but I'm not entirely certain. And then I will be on the NCAP Monday night with the Indy NXT Road Series from the Indianapolis Road Course at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we'll move to Tuesday night of next week, where we'll be covering the IndyCar Oval Series from Rockingham at 8:15 Eastern Time, followed up by the Indy NXT Oval Series at North Wilkesboro at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Some short track oval racing on tap for the open wheelers next week. Then Wednesday night will be the Horizon IndyCar Series from Chicagoland. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday will be AMA Championship Weekend kickoff. But first, we'll have the IndyCar Pro Series qualifier, or the Indy NXT Thrustmaster Pro Series qualifier from Portland starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Mark will have Championship Thursday for the AMA Xfinity Series at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time from Phoenix. Friday night will be the AMA Truck Series season finale at Phoenix, likewise at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Mark Murphy and Sam Crow. For all of us here at P1, as we see the second group of cars make the way past our camera here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to our coverage here of the second split of the INDY NXT Thrustmaster qualifying series here on iRacing. I want to thank everybody for bearing with us through the technical difficulties as we missed the opening about quarter of this race, but we'll get it sorted out, try to keep on top of things going into next week with the rest of our pro qualifying series coverage. And to all those that do the difficult jobs around the world, we thank you for allowing us to do all the fun things that we do and keeping the eyes out for us. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.